Yo guys, what's up? Welcome back to Sempre Into TV, and we're back again today with Stat Talk, the new feature that we've brought in to talk about our transfer market, but with more of a statistical outlook. We tried our first episode last week with the ball-carrying midfielder feature, and we got some really good feedback from you guys and people on social media. Thank you to everyone who were commenting really nice things and interacted with us on YouTube and Twitter and Facebook. And today we're back again with a new position that we're going to look at, which is the striker formation, more specifically the target man striker. Over the years in Conte's 3-5-2 formation, there's been one mainstay, and that is exactly that. And that's exactly what it says on the tin. That striker is the one that comes in a little bit deeper at times to take the pressure off the midfield and defence, to hold the ball for a bit, or can go even in behind for the longer balls, or is ready in the box to receive the crosses from the overlapping fullbacks. If we look back over the years at Antonio Conte's teams, he's always had that player in his teams, whether it was at Juventus with the likes of Alessandro Matri and Fernando Llorente. Of course, with the Italian national team, he had the Graziano Pelle and Simone Zaza to an extent. And then, of course, at Chelsea, he had big Diego Costa and Olivier Giroud. Whatever you may think of such a type of player, it is vital to Conte's style of football. It allows the team to bypass the press in midfield with a ball to the chest or to the head of the player, who can nod it on to on-running midfielders or his strike partner. And with two overlapping fullbacks who are traditionally very attacking in the Conte system, there needs to be a presence in the box that's ready to take advantage of the many crosses that we can expect. I know we used to make fun of Spalletti's tax with the cross and inshallah, but under Antonio Conte, I'm expecting a lot more of the same, a lot more crosses, but this time more than coming from wingers, they'll be coming from the wing backs. It would also allow Inter to have a different attacking style depending on the opponent. Last season we only had Icardi or Lautaro, and none of those two are really target man. Icardi's not very good at holding up the ball. Lautaro is pretty good in the air for his size, but he struggled at times to hold up the ball or be a presence in the box. So that gives us a plan B as well at times. But anyway, just as last week, I've got my right hand man Cammy, who's gonna take us through the 5 targets that we recommend Inter to go for in this summer transfer market. We have purposely left out Romelu Lukaku because we are going for more sensible targets, and if the rumour transfer fee of 60 to 70 million for him is true, then he's definitely not a very sensible transfer in those terms. As we are taking the inspiration from the T for Football series, sensible transfers.
Roman Bosnia star Edin Dzeko has been heavily linked with a move to Inter this summer, and Inter chief executive Beppe Marotta has already confirmed the club's interest in signing him. The 33-year-old would certainly bring a different dynamic to the striking department and would allow Antonio Conte to deploy a target man in his 3-5-2 system. Using Y-Scout data, we have looked at Dzeko's numbers and suggested some other players who could fit the bill too. As always, these players are not necessarily the best options out there, but fit Inter's budget and could certainly be considered more realistic additions. Dzeko can boast having the best aerial duel success rate not only in Serie A, but in all of Europe's top 5 leagues this past season. He was successful in 54.89% of his aerial duels last season and was involved in 7.69 per 90 minutes on the field. Dzeko also received 2.03 long passes per game last season. He tallied 9 goals and 4 assists in league play and managed a good 5.5 successful attacking actions per 90 minutes. Next, we have Leonardo Pavoletti. The Cagliari man was involved in more aerial duels per 90 minutes than anyone else in Serie A this past season, with 13.46. He had a 51.61 success rate in aerial duels, which is very impressive considering he was involved in almost twice as many as Dzeko was. He was often the central focus when Cagliari looked to play the ball long, as he received just shy of 3 long passes per game with 2.93. He notched 16 goals in the league last season, but did only manage the 1 assist. Moving on, we have Juventus' Mario Mandzukic. The Croatian veteran also has a good success rate in aerial duels with 50.35%, However, he is just participating in 5.95 aerial duels per 90 minutes, the lowest amount of any of the 5 names in this video. He received 2.15 long passes per 90 minutes and he scored 9 goals, which is quite a decent record given the strength of Juventus' attack. It also has to be remembered that he is often played out wide and not always as an out-and-out striker. Sebastian Haller's name jumped out to us during our research as someone who could potentially work also. The Eintracht Frankfurt forward was part of a deadly attack last season alongside Real Madrid new boy Lukaku and scored 15 goals and tallied 8 assists. He was involved in 14.08 aerial duels per 90 minutes and had a 48.9% success rate in the air. He also received 3.11 long passes per 90 minutes, which is more than anyone else in this video. Finally, we came across Wolfsburg striker Wout Weghorst. This past season, the Dutchman won 44.21% of his aerial duels from having 7.1 aerial duels per 90 minutes, and he received 2.11 long passes per 90 minutes in the park. A player with a clear eye for goal, as evidenced by his 17 goals, he also tallied 5 assists throughout last season in Germany's top flight. Inter are certainly right to be targeting Edin Dzeko, who as mentioned has the best percentage success rate in aerial duels in Europe's top 5 leagues. The fact he knows Italian football and has played in the Champions League previously adds to his suitability. However, Roma do continue to drag their heels in negotiations and make things difficult for Inter. Out of all the options in this list, he is definitely the most technically gifted and would be almost like an advanced playmaker up front who is able to bring in other players making runs around him. As for the others, despite having a clear ability in the air and in front of goal, Leonardo Pavoletti seems to lack the ability to link play up, which means he is probably not the most suitable option. His one previous stint at a big club in Napoli was a failure, although he was clearly not suited to Sarri's football, therefore perhaps he was doomed from the beginning. Mario Mandzukic, although getting on with his age, is pretty much the prototype of the perfect Antonio Conte player. He leaves everything on the pitch, he is strong, athletic and knows where the goal is, especially in the big matches. With the arrival of Sarri at Juventus in his system, he is likely to see a lot less time in the field, as in theory he is very much the antithesis of the ideal Sarri player. This could however mean Juve may be open to sell him in a cut price deal. Sebastian Haller is certainly someone that Inter should consider if unable to acquire Edin Dzeko. Eintracht Frankfurt have already lost Lukaku though and may not be keen to lose Haller in the same window, meaning acquiring him could certainly be a lot easier said than done. Finally, we have Wout Weghorst. He is the most unproven player in this list, given this past season was his breakout season. Similarly to Pavoletti, he doesn't seem to possess much in the way of technical ability, but definitely knows where the goal is. At the end of the day, he may not exactly fit as a target man, but he could certainly end up being the man Inter consider to replace Mauro Icardi and his bucket load of goals.
That's it. Thank you very much, Cammy, for that. Very interesting feature today. Personally, I think out of all those options, I would either go for Mario Mandzukic or Edin Dzeko. Dzeko is pretty much rumoured to be, very certain to be an Inter player this summer, just depending on whether Roma finally agree to the price that we want to pay and not the price they want us to pay, which is around 20 million, which is way too much for a 33-year-old. If we can get Dzeko for around 10 to 12 million euros, that would be a great deal for me. I'm a big admirer of Dzeko, although he can miss big chances at times. His technical ability and the way he brings in other players is really top-notch. Mario Mandzukic, as Cammy said, he is pretty much the perfect concept of Antonio Conte player. I think they would be a match made in heaven, but of course negotiating with Juve won't be very easy. But I want to hear your thoughts. Who would you sign out of those 5? And if it's not out of those 5, who else would you sign? Comment below, let us know. Please like and subscribe as always, and you know how it is. Forza Inter!